Welcome back. Well, loved ones and even strangers donated tens of thousands of dollars toward the care of a Kent dad. He had a kidney transplant and will need another in years' time. But now all that money fundraised is gone after the nonprofit used to collect the cash closed its doors. NBC Connecticut Response consumer reporter Caitlin Burchell breaking down the details live in studio. And this is a really big impact on this family. It's really sad.
Family, Amber, and potentially hundreds of other families. So this is a National Foundation for Transplants, and it says its peer-to-peer fundraising efforts have helped more than 6,400 patients. But as Amber just said, this month the nonprofit announced it's ceasing its operations, and donations gathered aren't going into patients' pockets. The Epstein family called NBC Connecticut Response stunned, and now Connecticut's Attorney General's office is looking into it.
It's just shocking and it's heartbreaking. This process is so stressful and emotional and terrifying. And then for this to happen, it's just horrible.
Just ask the Epstein family. It's not just scary, but it's also very expensive to get a kidney transplant, even with health insurance.
So Eric is a diabetic, and it kind of killed his kidneys. We're really lucky that he got the transplant and it stuck. But what about the other people? You can't get on the transplant list until you can prove to hospitals that you can pay for it.
That's why the Epsteins say they initially applied to the National Foundation for Transplants on the suggestion of hospital social workers. The nonprofit supports families with a fundraising consultant who helps organize fundraising campaigns, touting on its brochure that 97% of all donations can be used to pay for transplant-related expenses.
What was the perk to you, or why did you guys say, oh, this is why we should go this route versus, just putting it in your bank account?
We wanted people to understand that the money they gave us was solely for his medical expenses. So this was, in our opinion, talking to social workers and hospitals, this was the safest way to do that.
So the Epsteins say loved ones and even strangers donated $90,000 to Eric's NFT fundraising page. The Epsteins were getting reimbursed by the nonprofit for costs associated with kidney transplant care.
And by our estimate, just on our records, we had about $50,000 left.
They've been trying to spend this money cautiously, as the dad of a 10 and 7-year-old will most likely need another kidney in years' time. April 8th, the couple says they got an email that the foundation was closing its doors. In an email to NBC Connecticut Response, NFT says after 41 years, quote, closure has been a difficult but necessary decision. Economic strain post-pandemic, compounded by healthcare inflation and rising operational costs, alongside declining fundraising, necessitates this decision, unquote. On an FAQ sheet recently posted to its website, NFT writes, as has been disclosed throughout NFT materials and fundraising appeals, all contributions made to NFT in support of our patient services are typically made as unrestricted donations to NFT and not to any specific individual.
But that's just not true, because we applied and they gave us an individual account for Eric with an individual web address that we sent out to our friends and family.
In this email the Epstein shared with us, their NFT fundraising consultant sent them a drafted letter for them to share with friends. In the letter, the consultant wrote that readers could donate to Eric's page to, quote, help with his expenses, unquote. So where did the money go? NFT's site says, quote, gifts previously made in your honor have been utilized for serving transplant patients and the community. In an email to NBC Connecticut Response, it says there will be no funds remaining at closure.
Would I like the money that our friends gave us? Absolutely. Did that money go to help other people? Well, hopefully, if that's the case, that's why it's all gone. But at the same time, there are thousands of people, if you scroll through that website, that people donated for to help them get their organ.
Now, according to Internet Archives, NBC Connecticut Response found that NFT was still asking for donations on its website as of March. Now, the nonprofit's letter to us in full is on our website. And the Connecticut Office of the Attorney General says it's received a second complaint from another local patient as well. And all of this coming to head in April when it's National Donate Life Month, encouraging Americans to register as donors. For NBC Connecticut Response, I'm consumer reporter Caitlin Burchell.